Crunchyroll, the worst way to watch anime. This is by Framing the Narrative. I want to be honest. I haven't tried Hidive. But I've tried. Like I've watched. I have Hulu, and Hulu has like a pretty decent catalog of different anime. And Hulu is the most annoying way to watch anything because, like, let's say I put it on at night and I fall asleep to it, right? And then I try to go back and rewatch the episodes. For some reason, Hulu likes to keep every episode right at the very end of the episode, and I have to manually scroll all the way back to the beginning every single time. Every single time you have to start over, and it's so annoying. But let's get into this. We'll see why he thinks Crunchyroll is the worst, because I kind of like Crunchyroll a bit.
It blows my mind that Crunchyroll has to completely remove every social element on their platform for people to realize that.
Oh, I never watched Punisher Warzone. When I saw that Thomas Jane wasn't going to be in it and he said that he couldn't do it, I decided not to watch Punisher Warzone, and I haven't watched it since. I mean, he literally read the script and said, "No, I don't want to do this. Can we make it dark and gritty?" And the studio said, "No, it's a comic book movie," and because of that, Thomas Jane said that he couldn't do it, and that made me think that I didn't want to watch it. I need to watch it though. I hear the fans of Punisher Warzone are pretty adamant that it's a really fun movie, and the anti-Warzone people say that the movie should have never been made. So I need to really watch it and make my own opinion on it.
It's missing some features, when free alternatives have had 10 times the features and customization for years. Of course that'll never change, because most people will still happily pay increasing prices for the most inferior, most controlled viewing experiences available, simply because they're official, streamlined, and convenient. This blows my mind most of all, well, not least of all, because the unofficial platforms are just as convenient after a minuscule learning curve. But most of all, because the most important thing to me is the actual viewing experience of watching any given anime. Something which no one ever seems to be interested in talking about with any serious expectations.
So what I'm guessing is we're talking about like Pirate Bay type stuff here, and we're talking about like some of the stuff you can. I've had some apps in the past before I got Crunchyroll, because I used to have Funimation. I used to have Funimation because I'm a dub guy. I don't like I don't like sub. I just don't. I mean, I'm watching the shit for the animation, the fights, everything else. I don't want to be reading the dialogue. Now, every once in a while, I'll watch in sub. But I have to get to a point in the anime itself where I'm so fucking hooked that I need to know what happens next, and I'm already caught up with where the dub's at. That's when I will watch the sub, but I won't start a show in sub ever. It's just not something I'll do. And I think that I before I had Crunchyroll, I had Funimation because they were more of the dub platform. And if it wasn't on Funimation, I would use like the unofficial streaming type sources. And they were okay, but it wasn't like I could like put the app on my TV and just run the fucking app. It was always like a bunch of extra steps. So when Funimation combined into Crunchyroll, I just like continued paying because I utilize it. And I have to say, inconvenience is important. A lot of people like to downplay convenience, especially in almost everything. They want to go and downplay convenience and stuff because it's like, well, you could do it this way and it's not that much work. Well, yeah, but I mean, coming home after working all day, you had to deal with a bunch of bullshit. You want to come home and you want to fucking queue up this website on your TV, then go to the thing you're watching, go to the right fucking drop down, click on that when it doesn't just continue, and some of them don't continuously play. I don't know, it's just so much simplistic. It already remembers my library where it's at. The convenience is very nice, especially when you have a lot of other things going on in your life.
As if the only question that matters is, why aren't you licensing literally every anime I want to watch? And I'm gonna say it, it's an incredibly stupid question. Not just because it's impossible, not just because having a company like Hidive/Sentai, who licenses more of the niche and risque stuff as competition, is literally a good thing, but because if they don't have it, you
Desert Punk, the dub is great. I've never heard of Desert Punk. That is something I have never heard of. Desert Punk anime. Is it on Crunchyroll? Is it? Well, let's see here. Let's see. I've never heard of this. This is completely new. I'm definitely down to watch it. fuck you. Where to watch. Fuck. Let's see here. Crunchyroll. It's on Crunchyroll, so I'll have to give this a shot. This is definitely something I will put on my watch later. This is it seems interesting. So it kind of giving me Fist of the North Star type vibes because of the post-apocalyptic thing, and I wanted to get into Fist of the North Star, but it's all subs, so I'm not gonna watch it. But this looks pretty good. I'll have to fucking put this on my list. Thanks, guys.
You can just watch it somewhere else.
Amazing.
It's not that difficult, and there's no pointless guilt required. There are a multitude of other ways to support the shows if you so desire. The question I see no one asking is the actual viewing experience actually worth the premium? My experience watching any given anime on the allegedly premium, paid platform should be the superior experience, with the most options, the most features, and the most control over my viewing experience. And you know what that means? It means that if you provide 0 features, 0 options, and 0 customization, you have 0 value to offer me, and I have 0 reason to give you money. It doesn't matter how many licenses you can afford. If I can go to any number of alternative options and watch any given anime with a better, more fleshed out viewing experience, which I am in control of, which I can, easily and conveniently, contrary to popular belief, if I can do that, why would I watch literally anything on Crunchyroll? And I know, I hear you saying, to support the industry. Duh. Except that I've dumped more money into the industry this year than an entire lifetime of my Crunchyroll subs will. And I don't even buy that much of this stuff. I'd buy more if I had more room. But who cares, right? Who cares if you can't change the playback speed? So what if you can't mix subs with dubs? And why should it matter if some of the anime on Hidive and all of the anime on YouTube have these features by default? Why should it matter that there are no excuses for not having these features? Who cares that you can't choose a custom resolution while casting, or that the audio gets compressed into the pits of hell when the auto resolution falls below threshold? So what if there's no sorting or filtering? Why should it matter that the quote-unquote search page is just a glorified recommendations page with the absolute most basic search feature?
Okay, that is something that I do have a problem with this, and this is actually a problem I have with like Hulu too. I don't have Hidive. I don't have the other one too. I think it's on YouTube too. I added it to my watch list. I added the Desert Punk to my watch list on Crunchyroll. But here's my thing. I hate the recommended on Crunchyroll. I don't like their main page. Oh, like sometimes it's really good, but the problem with Crunchyroll's main page is it just recommends the same shit all the time. I've never seen Desert Punk recommended to me. That is something I've never seen, and it is something I have been trying to avoid 12 episode shits because I'm so sick of starting a show and then it ending on a cliffhanger and then waiting 6 years. So I try to get at least 24 episodes so I feel like I actually get like a bit of content before I have to fucking find a new show to watch, because there's nothing more irritating to me than just endlessly scrolling for new content. But I feel like the problem is the recommended, and their search function is so bad. Like, take for example, I wanted to watch The Gray Man, and I couldn't find it on my recently stuff because I haven't watched it in a while. So I typed in D Gray and just hit search, right? Because I figured the first pop-up in any logical search would be The Gray Man, right? D Gray Man. And of course it wasn't in the top search. Then I tried D Gray Man, and then it wasn't in the top. So I went to fucking all of their shows, put it in alphabetical, and scrolled until I found Gray Man. Right? It was so fucking irritating. I have to say that the Crunchyroll search functionality is super fucking annoying. It really is.
Who cares that the multi-user detection is broken and locks you out of streaming for minutes at a time because you hit refresh or open the new tab a little too fast? Why should anyone complain if
that is something I've never dealt with because I watch all of my Crunchyroll shit on a TV. I don't ever watch it on the computer. I just like use the TV app. So a lot of this type of shit doesn't pertain to me. Like the audio shit, I haven't ever noticed. The playback speed, never even thought about fucking with that. I'm watching the show. I don't need to speed it up. I'm just like chilling on the couch. I'm like multitasking, editing videos and creating thumbnails, watching whatever show I decided looked the most interesting to me at the moment. and I'm never thinking about the playback speed. And then like the multiple tabs, I'm watching it on TV, so that doesn't affect me whatsoever. But like, and this isn't me trying to defend Crunchyroll, because I think that it is kind of egregious what they're doing by trying to buy up. Sony's trying to buy up like the entire anime industry so that they can have so they can basically put these other services like Hidive and stuff out of business. And that's kind of why I like Hulu too, because Hulu gets a lot of the stuff that has been on Hidive for a long time eventually shows up on Hulu. So my wife's able to watch whatever her fucking latest crime drama is, like Blue Bloods or whatever, and I can watch like Dororo.
They continue to drop broken subtitles week after week, which fan subs and torrent hosts end up fixing for free. Why should it matter that popular shows frequently crash or stall their servers while free alternatives continue chugging right along? Who cares that the UI is atrocious and that the app still doesn't even have something as basic as a previous episode button? So what if it takes them years at a time to fix blatantly obvious issues like screenshot blocking and the eternal pause screen overlay while casting? I mean, at least they finally fixed those two, but at this rate, it'll take them a millennium to ever catch up with the rest of these issues.
That's never gonna happen. Ever. 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 Ever.
And those issues are frankly just the tip of the iceberg on the viewing experience. I don't even want to get into their shady business practices. Let me ask you the question as I see it. Am I wrong for having literally any expectations whatsoever in this regard?
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
I understand that every official streaming platform fails on this front, but all that means to me is that streaming platforms, drumroll please, have failed us. But hey, it's no big deal. It's not like literally none of these are issues on free alternatives. It's not like they have every opportunity to just copy what those platforms do better than them. Who cares that their one saving grace, video quality, is better than a free stream but still worse than a torrent in many cases? So what if they fail to update licenses on classic shows that are censored, low quality, missing dubs, missing entire episodes, or in some cases feature literal compression artifacts in the footage? Who cares that they sold us on the Crunchyroll Funimation merger with slogans like, "Working together to give you more," only to quietly let hundreds of Funimation licenses die in the gutter? So what if they gutted the best?
I did hate that, because I feel like there was a bunch of stuff I was waiting to watch. I had queued up on Funimation, and I feel like there is a lot of shit that didn't make it in the merger, which sucks because you would have had a massive catalog. I feel like Crunchyroll's catalog would have been so much better, and that's something that I'm seeing with Sony. Sony does this a lot, and people like to fucking love on Sony and shit, but I look at Sony's fucking version of Game Pass, and it's a fucking shit show. And the fact that Sony can't even take the minuscule amount of time to make their like PlayStation 3 games playable on their modern hardware, if they don't even put in the work on that in that area of their company, why the fuck are they going to do it in the anime? And it sucks. But then I look into some of the alternatives like Hidive, and I know these are all paid, but again, I'm going to be watching this shit on my TV. I'm not going to fucking pull up a torrent or all this other extra shit when I'm just wanting to watch my shit on like a fucking chill day. I don't want to put in the effort. I don't want to torrent shit. I just want to like enjoy my shit and watch it. So when I come home, I want to like a decently put together streaming service, and this is the best there is right now. And that's kind of sad, especially when Sony's out there kind of strong arming all of these other companies. I think that there is a huge argument for why Crunchyroll should be better because of the fact that Sony's out there trying to make them the monopoly on anime
website for buying manga and merch because Sony simply has to own everything. Why should anyone complain that they're taking on fewer and fewer US physical licenses, with even popular shows like Chainsaw Man from 2 years ago getting releases in the UK before the US ever receives them? Why should it matter that things like the Save Edition and Anime Classics releases are disappearing like a faint memory? Who cares that their physical releases are still twice the price of UK imports of the same quality? And who cares if they're buying out the UK companies too? So what if they're the sole reason you have fewer and fewer options with every passing year? Why should anyone care that they're owned by a company that loves nothing more than out-censoring freaking Nintendo on Japanese video game releases? And who cares that if they continue to grow
dude, Sony is like really egregious with censorship on their platform too, which is crazy to me because Microsoft's bad at it too. I'm not gonna say Microsoft's not, but at least Sony will have allow games like Postal on their platform. But Sony is pretty bad about overly censoring on the video game side as well. And it just it's one of those things that I'm hoping Microsoft goes with adding Steam on the Xbox so that you can just have a little more freedom in terms of what games you want on your fucking device. And I think it would force Sony to kind of take a step back. That would be nice. And And because there was a controversy a few years ago with like some horror game where Sony wouldn't allow it on their thing because it was too violent or something, which was dumb. It was allowed on Xbox, which is funny because again they allow all the Postal games on PlayStation, but they won't allow this one horror game. Fucking weird.
At this rate, they're going to have more power with similar decisions in the anime industry. Who cares, right? Who cares? No one, apparently, since to no one's surprise they've been growing at an absolutely alarming rate. I don't know whether to blame people's stupidity, laziness, or both, but most have simply accepted all of this. And when the 2 weeks...
Well, again, I think he's missing a huge critical component here. Most people, I would say about 90% of people do things out of convenience. We are fucking, like, we do so much shit in our lives. We have so much shit going on that we don't want to come home and then put in a lot of fucking effort just to watch a TV show. To be honest, most people don't. It's nice to just turn on the TV, hit click play, and relax for a little bit. That's all people fucking want. So obviously, most people are gonna be gonna look at the one that has a TV app, utilize the TV app, and then be fucking chilling with that. That's how most people are gonna go about this. And I think he can't wrap his head around that in a way, and that's always going to be a crucial downfall. Now, am I saying that all of his critiques aren't correct? Absolutely not, because I think he's making a lot of valid points here. But come on, dude. I mean, you're underselling the most important aspect of this whole situation.
The best news cycle is over. It'll be, who cares that there's no comment section? Who cares that all the reviews are now meaningless numbers with no context? Who cares? I'll just keep paying. I'll just keep supporting these practices. I'll just keep consuming product, looking forward to next product, and sending the message that this is all a perfectly acceptable value proposition. This is positive progress for the industry and for the consumption of art. This video could probably be an hour long, and I would still not run out of ways to quote-unquote nitpick Crunchyroll. I have thought many times of making the Why Crunchyroll Sucks video, but it feels like anyone who has the capacity to get it surely must get it by now, right? You want a slogan for Crunchyroll? Here's a good one, albeit a bit long. Crunchyroll. Still and always the worst way to watch anime. Still and always the worst way to support the industry. And soon, if we have it our way, the only way to do either. Thank you for giving us your money.
Well, and here's the thing too. I mean, it sucks to say this, but from what I've looked into with Hidive, and even when I've looked at their UI is so much fucking worse than Crunchyroll's. It is much worse type of setup than Crunchyroll. And yeah, there are features on Hidive that are a bit better when I was looking into it, but it's still like before I thought about getting Hidive, I looked at what I'd be getting, and it's like, yeah, I'd get a few new series and stuff, but I was looking at the UI, I was looking at some of the issues that it runs into, how it's set up. It's kind of a mess. Now, I want it to be better. I want it to be more streamlined because I do want alternatives to Crunchyroll. But right now, it's the best and easiest way to watch anything. And that's going to be more important to your average consumer than any of these nitpicks are going to be. And I'm sorry that's just me being real with you. I don't know how any other way of saying it. And don't get me wrong. Again, I don't think a lot of their practices are cool and based or whatever, but if you want to enjoy the medium, this is the choice you got. And the fact that it exists is still nice to have. I don't want to be too defensive because I think his points are correct, but at the same time, underplaying the importance of convenience is a super disingenuous in a way, and acting like everybody who's supporting it is kind of an idiot and like just like the fucking dumb soda drinking fucking consumer goblin is kind of dumb too, when you're underplaying what most people do on their daily basis is they don't want to come home and deal with a bunch of shit. So they come home, they just want to turn it on and enjoy their shit. They just want to watch their fucking shows, and that's most important overall. And I know that I'm kind of reiterating and saying the same point, but if he would have made the understanding, appealed to the understanding of convenience and not downplayed it, I think that it would have been a lot important, or a lot better. And then kind of talked about how bad Sony is and how they literally forced their way in with the studio that owns FromSoft just so they can take over their... People thought it was about From Software. It was never about From Software. It's because Sony wants to control almost all of the anime industry. They want to have all the anime industry so they can bully anybody else out of the streaming space. And then when they have that, they can sit back and be as lazy as fucking humanly possible, kind of like they're doing with PlayStation right now. That's just what they do, and that's what most companies try to do. It sucks, absolutely, and I'm not defending it. I think it's some fucking cum goblin mentality, but that's the world we live in, and most people want to pay for the most convenient place to watch shit possible. I mean, if I had a choice, right? If you sat me down and said, okay, you're gonna have to deal with some kind of annoying missing features, some annoying shit, but every one of the shows you could possibly want is on this platform, and this company took over everything, but it's going to be convenient for you, and you're gonna pay for it, and just don't think about all the horrible business practices. I would probably pay for that service. It sucks, yeah. I mean, it sucks for that industry. It would suck because eventually the quality would get worse. But as a consumer, it would be very convenient to have everything I want in one place. Absolutely. It's just that comes with a lot of fucking baggage, right? That comes with a lot of bad business practices. It comes with the fact that there's going to be a monopoly involved, and it sucks, dude. But I think back to when Netflix was really the only streaming service out there, and how much content Netflix had, how much was going, like, everything I wanted to watch was on Netflix. All these other studios were working with Netflix because they were the only game in town, and then everybody else started a streaming service, and now you have like 47 streaming services, and all of them kind of only have a little bit here and a little bit there that you actually want to watch. So you pay for that service so you can watch 4 fucking shows. You watch those shows, you cancel that service, you go to another service, and it's really fucking annoying when it used to be just Netflix. That's kind of what I'm saying with the importance of convenience, and I know that we can get, there's free alternatives, you can torrent shit, you can do Pirate Bay type stuff, but your average consumer, one, they know that that's illegal and they don't want to partake in illegal activities because it's fucking illegal. So then you have the other where people want it is their viewing lifestyle to be as simplistic and easy as possible, and this provides that. And to underplay that, I think, is kind of a misstep, but and I think it also kind of diminishes your overall goal of this video when you could have just been like, Crunchyroll's an evil platform, and here's why, and I would be sitting here at the end, yep, it's an evil platform. But to say it's the worst way to watch anime, when even like some of its competitors like Hidive aren't able to come with aren't able to put up the same quality in UI and quality in easy viewing that Crunchyroll is able to do, and also the amount of the catalog compared to Crunchyroll, it's kind of hard for me to say you're 100% right when I have a comparison in the industry. Now, compared to all the free stuff you could possibly want through pirating, I mean, again, that requires a lot of extra effort when we're not just talking about streaming services anymore. We're talking about like the endless bounds of what we could possibly do. It's like, oh, well, my thrift shop has every single fucking anime ever existed. Well, cool, mine doesn't. So, yeah. But that's all I got for that one, guys. I think overall the video is pretty good. I think that if you would have, just made it Crunchyroll, or Sony's way to a monopoly, Crunchyroll, Sony's way to a monopoly, and then just kind of talked about all the evil that Crunchyroll does in one video, even if it got a little distracted, I think it would have been a lot better than calling it the worst way to watch anime, because even when I look compared to Hulu, Crunchyroll is way better place to watch shit than Hulu is. So, but that's all I got for you guys, I guess. Like, subscribe, dislike, don't subscribe, leave an angry comment. I don't give a shit. And I'll catch you on the next one.